No one in the galaxy had ever seen the Galactic Council speak like this. Not to one planet, not to one species. Yet every screen, every signal relay, every deep space channel lit up at the same time. From trade stations to warships, from ancient empires to young colonies, the same message appeared. It was short, it was cold, and it was directed at only one world: Earth. The Galactic Council issued a final warning. The message did not begin with greetings. It did not offer peace. It began with judgment. Humanity was declared a destabilizing force. Human weapons were labeled unlawful. Human expansion was called reckless. Earth was ordered to obey galactic law within one standard cycle. No discussion, no delay. Failure to comply would result in total enforcement. Across the galaxy, silence followed. Species that had survived for thousands of years felt fear. They had seen what total enforcement meant. Worlds erased, fleets shattered, history rewritten. The Council did not bluff. On Earth, the message reached every government, every military command, every defense network. But the response did not come from politicians. It came from a single ship. The human flagship, Vigilance, drifted calmly near the edge of the Sol system. It was not the largest ship humanity had built. It was not the most heavily armed, but it was the one that mattered. On its bridge stood Captain Elias Ward. He was not shouting. He was not pacing. He stood still, hands behind his back, eyes fixed on the holographic projection of the Galactic Council. Dozens of alien figures hovered in the air. Tall ones, small ones, shapes that barely looked alive. They watched the human captain closely. They expected resistance. They expected anger. Captain Ward listened as the final lines of the warning were read aloud. "Earth will submit," the council speaker said, "or Earth will be corrected." The word hung in the air. Corrected. On the bridge, human officers waited. Some were tense. Some were angry, but the captain did not react. He tilted his head slightly, as if considering something small. Then he smiled. It was not a cruel smile, not a proud one. It was almost gentle. Captain Ward leaned back against the command rail and spoke. "That's adorable." For a moment, no one moved. The translators hesitated, unsure if the word had been used correctly. The council speaker's eyes narrowed. "Clarify your response, human captain," it demanded. Captain Ward folded his arms. "You sent a final warning. You threatened my home, my species." He looked around the bridge, then back at the hologram. "And you expected fear." The council speaker replied sharply. "Every species fears the council." Ward nodded once. "That's cute, too." The word spread like a shockwave. Across the galaxy, observers leaned closer to their screens. Some gasped, some whispered. No one had spoken to the council like this and survived. The council's voice hardened. "Humanity does not understand its position," it said. "You are young, unregulated, dangerous." Ward took a step forward. "No," he said. "You don't understand yours." That was when the temperature changed. The bridge grew quiet. Even the ship's hum seemed to soften. Ward tapped a control. Behind him, the stars shifted slightly as the Vigilance adjusted position. "Before you speak again, I need to ask something." The council waited. "Is this truly your final warning?" The speaker hesitated. That pause was small, but across the galaxy it was noticed. "Yes," the council answered. "This is final." Ward smiled again. Not wide, not mocking, just calm. "Good," he said. "I wanted to be sure." A ripple of unease moved through the council chamber. "You will comply," the speaker insisted, "or face enforcement." Ward turned slightly, looking at his crew. They did not ask questions. They already knew. He looked back at the council. You call this law. We call it a threat. The speaker raised his voice. You are warned, human. Ward nodded. Message received. The hologram flickered. The council disconnected. Across the galaxy, beings exhaled breath they did not know they were holding. Some believed Earth was finished. Others wondered why the human captain looked so relaxed. On the bridge of the Vigilance, no alarm sounded. No weapons powered up. Captain Ward walked to the main display and stared at the stars. They think we're scared, one officer said quietly. Ward chuckled. They always do. He straightened. Send a priority signal to Fleet Command. Tell them the Council made its move. The officer paused. And our response, sir? Ward's eyes remained on the darkness beyond the glass. Our response, he said softly, is going to be educational. Far away, in Council space, ancient sensors began to register strange movements near Earth, patterns they did not recognize, energy signatures they could not name. And for the first time in 10,000 years, the Galactic Council felt something unfamiliar. Concern.
The Galactic Council did not fear many things. They had ruled the galaxy for more than 10,000 years. Empires rose and fell under their watch. Wars burned entire systems, and the Council remained. They believed fear was a tool, one they controlled. But humanity was different. Long before the final warning was sent, the Council had been watching Earth, quietly. At first, humans were ignored. They were young, confined to one star system, still fighting among themselves. The galaxy had seen species like that before. Most never left their home world. Then humans reached space. They did not ask for permission. They did not wait for guidance. They built. Fast. Too fast. Within a few centuries, human ships were crossing distances that took others thousands of years to master. They did not follow standard travel lanes. They made their own. Council observers noticed strange things. Human ships were smaller, yet faster. Their engines burned unstable energy, but never failed. Their designs looked chaotic, but worked perfectly. More worrying was how humans treated danger. Other species avoided death worlds. Humans were born on one. Earth was violent. Storms, quakes, predators, diseases. Humans evolved fighting their own planet. To the galaxy, that explained everything. When humans met hostile aliens for the first time, they did not panic. They adapted. When attacked by pirates, they hunted them down. Not just the ships, the bases, the supply lines, the financiers. The galaxy noticed. Reports reached the Council. Humans did not wage war like others. They studied their enemies, learned their habits, then ended the conflict quickly. Too quickly. The first real concern came during a border incident. A minor alien power tried to claim a human colony. The Council expected a long conflict. Instead, it ended in 3 hours. Human ships disabled the enemy fleet without destroying it, then sent the survivors home with medical aid. The message was clear. Humans could destroy, but chose not to. That scared the galaxy more than brutality ever could. Council analysts began simulations. Human tactics broke them. Humans ignored rules of engagement. They ignored expected behavior. They used feints inside feints. They sacrificed advantage for surprise. Worst of all, they learned. Every encounter made them better. The Council began calling humanity unpredictable. Then came the technology. Human weapons did not always destroy ships. Some shut down gravity. Some erased targeting systems. Some caused enemy AIs to shut themselves off. No one understood how. Human scientists did not explain. They just smiled and said, "It works." The Council demanded inspections. Humanity refused. That refusal turned fear into anger. The Council believed law was absolute. Every species followed it, except humans. They did not see galactic law as sacred. They saw it as optional. Worse, humans had read it carefully. They found gaps, contradictions, old rules never updated. Humans used those gaps to expand legally while breaking the spirit of the law. It was infuriating and impressive. The final reason the galaxy feared humanity was simple. Humans did not seek domination. They did not want to rule the galaxy. They only wanted to be left alone. Species that wanted power could be predicted, controlled. Species that wanted peace but prepared for war, those were dangerous. The Council debated for years. Some wanted to welcome Earth, others wanted to restrict it. Fear won. They believed humanity needed limits, control, law. So they issued the final warning. They believed intimidation would work, because it always had. They did not understand that humans had already imagined this moment. On Earth, Captain Elias Ward stood before the Fleet Command holotable. Admirals and analysts waited. "They fear us," one officer said. Ward nodded. "They should," he replied, "but not for the reasons they think." He looked at the data scrolling past. "They fear what they can't control," he continued, "and they fear what learns faster than they do." A pause. "They just made one mistake." The room waited. "They reminded us," Ward said calmly, "why we never ask permission." Far across the stars, the Galactic Council prepared its enforcement fleets. They believed fear would force humanity to kneel. They did not realize fear had already chosen a side.
The Galactic Council did not wait long. 3 cycles after the final warning, long-range sensors across human space began to scream. Something massive was moving. At the edge of mapped territory, space bent and shimmered as thousands of ships exited faster than light travel. They arrived in perfect formation, the peacekeeping fleet. Ancient hulls layered with centuries of upgrades, ships built not for speed, but for authority. Every vessel carried the Council's symbol, a mark that had ended wars without a single shot. Across the galaxy, observers watched in silence. This fleet had never failed. In the Sol system, human defense stations tracked the Armada calmly. No alarms rang, no emergency broadcasts were sent. On the bridge of the Vigilance, Captain Elias Ward stood with his hands behind his back. The main display showed the incoming fleet in perfect detail. Numbers scrolled along the edge of the screen. Thousands of ships, enough firepower to crack planets. A junior officer swallowed. "They crossed the line, sir," she said. Ward nodded. "They always do." The peacekeeping fleet stopped just outside the system boundary, not close enough to be attacked, close enough to be seen. A message was transmitted on every known channel. "Earth," the Council commander said, "you have failed to comply." His voice was calm, certain. "You will power down all weapons. You will submit to inspection. This fleet is here to enforce galactic law."
The words echoed through space. Ward stepped forward. He opened a direct channel. "This is Captain Elias Ward of the United Earth Fleet," he said. "You are currently violating human sovereign space." The Council commander laughed. "Your space exists only by Council tolerance," he replied. Ward tilted his head. "Turn your fleet around," he said. "This is your last chance." The laughter stopped. Across the armada, weapons powered up. Shield arrays flared to life. A visible wall of force formed between the fleets. Human ships did not move. They did not raise shields. They did not retreat. They waited. The Council commander's voice returned. "You will stand down," he demanded. Ward looked at his tactical officer. "Begin demonstration," he said quietly. A single human ship moved forward. It was small compared to the Council vessels, unarmed according to standard scans. The peacekeeping fleet locked targeting sensors on it. "Captain," an officer warned, "they can destroy it in seconds." Ward nodded. "I know." The small human ship crossed the invisible boundary. Nothing happened. Then, without warning, the space around the Council fleet flickered. Not an explosion, not an attack. Systems failed. One ship drifted, then another. Lights went dark. Weapons went silent. Across the armada, panic spread. "Report!" the Council commander shouted. No one answered. Human ships began to move, not charging, positioning, surrounding. The small human ship returned to formation untouched. On the bridge of the Vigilance, Ward spoke calmly. That was a warning. The Council commander's voice returned, strained. "What did you do?" Ward folded his arms. "We turned off your fleet." Silence. "We did not damage your ships. We did not harm your crews." He leaned closer to the display. "This is us being polite." Fear rippled through the peacekeeping fleet. They had come to enforce law. Instead, they were helpless. Ward's final words echoed across every channel. "Leave now, or next time we stop being cute." The Council fleet did not answer. They began retreat preparations. Across the galaxy, watchers stared in disbelief. The peacekeeping fleet, undefeated for ages, was backing away. And Captain Elias Ward turned from the display. "This isn't over," he said quietly. Far away, in the heart of Council space, alarms began to sound. For the first time in 10,000 years, the galaxy realized it had misjudged humanity. If you want, next I can write Part 4, When Galactic Shields Failed. Increase battle detail or mystery. Add mid-roll cliffhanger hooks. Adjust tone for darker HFY.
The Galactic Council did not accept retreat. They called it a tactical pause. Within hours, emergency commands spread through Council space. Backup fleets were activated. Defense protocols written centuries ago were unlocked. The peacekeeping fleet was ordered to re-engage. This time, they would not hesitate. Near the edge of the Sol system, the disabled ships came back to life. Power returned, weapons warmed. Council commanders believed they now understood the human trick. A temporary disruption, a clever signal attack, nothing more. They were wrong. Human sensors detected the change instantly. On the bridge of the Vigilance, tactical displays shifted. "They're powering up again," an officer said. Captain Elias Ward nodded once. "Good," he replied. "Now they can watch." The Council fleet advanced. Shields flared brighter than stars. Layered defenses, tested in 1,000 wars, formed a moving wall. No weapon in known space had ever broken them. The Council commander opened a channel. "This ends now, human," he said. "You will witness the cost of defiance." Ward did not argue. "Begin Phase 2, he ordered. Human ships adjusted formation. They spread out, creating wide gaps between them. To Council eyes, it looked like fear, retreat. Then space itself twisted, not violently, quietly. A low hum passed through the void. Council shield monitors began flashing warnings. Energy readings spiked, then dropped. "Stabilize shields!" the commander shouted. The shields flickered, once, twice, then failed. Not shattered, not pierced, they simply turned off. Across the fleet, panic erupted. Ships that relied on shields for balance began to drift. Some collided, others spun helplessly. Weapons fired blindly, missing every target. Human ships moved with calm precision. They did not rush forward. They walked through the fleet. One by one, Council ships lost gravity control. Engines shut down. Command systems went dark. It was not destruction. It was humiliation. On the Vigilance, Ward watched silently. "They're defenseless," an officer said in disbelief. Ward nodded. "Yes," he replied, "and they know it." The Council commander's voice returned, shaking. "How are you doing this?" he demanded. Ward answered honestly. "You built shields to stop force. We learned how to stop rules." The commander did not understand. That made it worse. Human technology did not break shields. It changed the conditions that made shields possible. Physics bent. Council ships were not designed for that. The Council tried to retreat. Human ships let them. Most could not move. The Council commander sent a final message. "Cease this attack," he pleaded. "We invoke emergency law." Ward's expression did not change. You invoked law when it suited you. You invoke mercy when it doesn't. The human fleet stopped advancing. Every Council ship still operational found itself surrounded. Ward leaned forward. "This is the moment," he said, calmly, "where you decide what kind of galaxy you want." The Council commander fell silent. For the first time in its long existence, the Galactic Council had no answer. Their shields had failed, their authority had failed, and worse, their certainty was gone. Far away in Council space, the news spread like fire. Human ships were not stronger, they were smarter. And the galaxy began to understand something terrifying. If humans could turn off shields, what else could they turn off?
Silence filled the space between fleets. The Galactic Council had never known silence like this. Their ships were surrounded, their weapons were useless, their shields, once symbols of absolute power, were gone. Human ships did not fire. They waited. On the bridge of the Vigilance, Captain Elias Ward stood calmly, hands behind his back. He did not look like a conqueror. He did not look angry. That scared the Council more than any weapon. The Council commander finally opened a channel. His voice was slower now, careful. "Human captain," he said, "this situation can be resolved through lawful discussion." Ward raised an eyebrow. "Now you want law?" he asked. The commander ignored the tone. "We request negotiations under galactic law," he continued. "This conflict must end." Ward stepped closer to the holo display. "For cycles, you used law as a threat." He gestured to the trapped fleet. "You called this peacekeeping." The commander shifted. "We acted to maintain order," he replied. Ward nodded slowly. "And we acted to protect our home." A pause. Then something unthinkable happened. The Galactic Council commander lowered his head. Across the galaxy, observers froze. The Galactic Council was backing down. "We request protection under neutral law," the commander said. "We ask for a ceasefire." Ward did not answer right away. He let the silence stretch. Human officers watched him closely. Finally, he spoke. "You threatened Earth with extinction," he said quietly. "You sent fleets into our space." He leaned forward. "And now you want us to protect you?" The commander swallowed. "Yes." Ward exhaled slowly. "This is why you lost," he said. "You believe law exists only when you are weak." He turned to his crew. "Hold position," he ordered. "No further actions." Then he faced the council again. "We will negotiate," Ward said. "Not under your law." The commander stiffened. "Then under what authority?" he asked. Ward's answer was simple. Reality. The council chamber erupted in whispers. Ward continued. "You will recognize Earth as a sovereign power. You will remove all restrictions placed on human technology." The commander listened in silence. "You will never issue threats to our species again." A long pause followed. Finally, the commander spoke. "The council agrees." The words echoed across space. Human officers exchanged looks. It was done. But Ward was not finished. "One more thing," he said. The commander tensed. "You will revise galactic law," Ward said calmly. "No species will be judged without consent." The council hesitated. Then, slowly, they agreed. Across the galaxy, ancient powers felt the shift. The law that once ruled by fear had bent, because a species that refused to kneel had forced it to. Ward ended the transmission. On the bridge, no one cheered. They understood this was bigger than victory. "This changes everything," an officer said softly. Ward nodded. "Yes," he replied, "and that's why they're scared." Far away, in council space, historians began rewriting records. The day the Galactic Council begged for law, and the day humanity rewrote it. The galaxy did not change overnight, but it changed enough. News of the failed enforcement spread faster than any fleet. Stories traveled from core worlds to the far edges of known space. The Galactic Council had bent. Not broken, bent. And everyone wanted to know why. Official records called it a peaceful resolution. Council statements spoke of mutual understanding. But among captains, traders, and soldiers, the truth was whispered. Humanity had won without destroying a single world. On Earth, life continued as normal. Cities did not celebrate. No victory parades were held. Human ships returned to patrol. Human officers went back to duty. Captain Elias Ward stood alone on the observation deck of the Vigilance, watching the stars. He looked tired, not from battle, from responsibility. An officer approached quietly. "Sir," she said, "the Council has ratified the new law." Ward nodded. "They learned," he replied. The officer hesitated. "About the word," she added. "They're talking about it." Ward smiled faintly. Across the galaxy, that single word had taken on new meaning. Cute. To humans, it meant small, harmless, unthreatening. To the galaxy, it became something else. A warning. When a human called something cute, it meant they were not impressed. It meant the threat had been measured and found lacking. Alien academies updated their training manuals. Never threaten humans casually. Never assume they fear authority. Never mistake calm for weakness. Most important, if a human responds to a warning with humor, stop immediately.
The Galactic Council changed how it ruled. Laws became discussions. Enforcement became negotiation, because they had learned a hard truth. You cannot rule a species that survived its own world. In distant systems, young civilizations studied humanity with quiet respect. They did not see monsters. They saw something more dangerous, a people who preferred peace but prepared for war. On the bridge of the Vigilance, Ward received a final message from the Council. It was short, respectful. Earth is recognized. Ward closed the channel. He looked once more at the stars. Humanity did not want an empire. It wanted freedom, and the galaxy had finally understood. Far from Earth, in a council chamber older than human history, a junior official asked a question. What should we do if humans ignore us again? An elder answered without hesitation. Listen. The official frowned. And if they smile? The elder paused. Then hope, he said slowly, that they don't find us cute.